Good evening. I'm Gabrielle Gonzalez with USA Today, coming to you live from the Republican National Committee debate. Tonight, the nation's top GOP contenders will take the stage to outline their visions for America's future, tackling key issues like the economy, immigration, national security, and more. With the primaries approaching fast, tonight's debate could be a turning point for many campaigns. We'll be bringing you real-time analysis, insights, and reactions from voters across the country. Stay with us as we break down the moments that matter. Let's get started. Tonight, I'll have two guest hosts with me. I'll have Scott Irons. Come on up, Scott.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Take a seat. Take a seat.
Thank you, everybody. It's so great to be here.
Yes. No, Scott, take a seat up
Yes.
here. Take a seat up.
Yes.
No,
Where
come
do I
sit
take a seat?
right next.
Hi.
Hi, thank you. Okay. Introducing Scott Irons and Johanna Hayes. Johanna's going to be joining us virtually from Zoom. Wow, guys, look at the packed crowd behind us. All these people here waiting for these lucky candidates to be here. Okay. Johanna, are you there?
Yeah. I was just having
Great.
issues.
Okay, Johanna, we're going to start off with you, Johanna. We're going to start off asking you the question first, Johanna. Start off with you. Johanna, what are your expectations? Who do you think is going to do better tonight?
Honestly, Gabrielle, my expectations are not set that high. I mean, when I was in the race, I got to understand these candidates as best. Well, it was my job to understand these candidates and their policies as best as I could. So, honestly, to not beat around the bush, uh, I think Michael's going to do better.
You do. Scott, are you going to time into this, Scott? What is your opinion, Scott? Who do you think
Well,
is going
I
to do
think
better?
Leo is really the only candidate who actually has shared his policies, has shared his plans. He has released a double-digit page paper called Agenda 21 on his policies. He has a clear vision for what he wants to do with America. And Michael Smith hasn't released any policy, as he has no plan. And so I really think that Leo Stone is really going to carry this debate because he has a clear thing to talk about.
I mean, to piggyback off of what
Right.
Leo said, I not lie. I mean, as much as I think Leo Stone is an unserious and unfit candidate, I do think
That's
he
wrong. That's wrong.
probably
Leo
I
Stone is fit
I
and he is
think
competent.
Well,
I
let's let Johanna
Oh,
talk.
yeah.
I do think that he will probably have the upper hand since Leo has actual policies and actual plans to
Right.
campaign on and to talk about. Meanwhile, Michael Smith, who we seen yesterday at a campaign rally, he launched his reelection bid, talked about things that he wants to do for the country when he could be doing those things now. So
Absolutely. And
that's
and and
something that can
sorry
be.
to interrupt you. Just a little, just to kind of piggyback on you. Uh Michael Smith, he's the president right now. He said in his campaign rally earlier that all the departments are inactive. But he's the president. He controls those departments. He can nominate secretaries. Why isn't he doing anything to help these departments that he calls inactive?
Right.
Just to talk about what Leo just said a little bit, I think the reason Michael is,
Leo,
I'm sorry, uh,
Scott Irons.
Scott
God,
Irons.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the only reason that Michael campaign or is doing that or not promoting or appointing, nominating relevant officials to the cabinet is because he wants something to campaign on, and he's not going
That's
to have
right. That's
if
absolutely right.
Well, okay, we're gonna move on to the next topic, guys. Let's move on to healthcare. Seeing what the secretary he posted today, guys. What do you guys think is going on with that? What is your opinion on that?
Well, right now, BRUS doesn't really have a healthcare system, but definitely Leo does have a plan to sort of begin formulating one under the Bloxburg economy. He's going to start investing in individuals and news corporations. And now that's not exactly healthcare, but it is in fact social issues. It is in fact, giving aid. So Leo Stone does in fact have a plan for that sort of, sphere, healthcare. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, Johanna.
Um, I agree with Scott on everything he just said. But like I said earlier, it all comes down to
Who was that? Who was that trying to glitch? Oh my god.
who is introducing policies, who promoting policy. That is what it all comes down to tonight, in my opinion.
Right. I agree. I agree. Okay, we're gonna move to the next topic. Who do you guys think is going to do the best tonight at the debate? And what do you guys think the questions are going to be? Do you guys have any predictions of what you guys think is going to be asked? Or
Well, I think the obvious questions will be asked, things on the economy, things on infrastructure, things on our obviously our border will be a big topic tonight since President Michael Smith signed an executive order to secure it. So I think that there will be some juicy questions tonight, to be honest, and we'll just have to see who answers them better. Who
I
can
think Go
go
ahead.
ahead? No, go ahead.
I think
go
definitely
ahead, Scott.
activity, which is one of the largest topics and one of the largest issues in BRUS, will definitely or hopefully be addressed. Additionally, I do think that the candidates will be asking each other a lot more questions as opposed to, the Justin Powers v. Leo Stone debate where they sort of just answer the questions from the moderator. I think that Leo Stone and Michael Smith will be asking each other questions and trying to hold each other accountable. And so I think that's something we can see from this debate.
Right. Okay. Next question. Okay. How do you guys like the strategy? How do you guys like the strategies that the candidates are using, like these attack campaigns and everything from Leo? Especially how he was attacking you, Johanna. How did you feel about that?
Uh, to be I did sort of start the attacking first whenever I was in the running. I made this campaign ad about him being unfit and unserious, which I stand on what I said. Leo Stone is not in any capacity to occupy the role of President of the United States. I would not vote for him. I do not recommend any of you to vote for him. He is unfit, but if he proves himself in this debate tonight, I could change my mind on that opinion.
Right. Right. What? Can you tell us why you dropped out again?
Uh, honestly, Gabrielle, Bruce
Y'all, 1 second. Hold on. 1 second. Everything's been fixed. 1 second.
Are we back? Okay, we're back. Sorry, sorry, viewers watching across the world. We had technical difficulties. Jenny, Jana, if you could continue what you were talking about before we cut. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Question again?
Oh, we were talking about your campaign.
What was the specific question?
You were telling us about why you dropped out.
Okay. Well, honestly, you know, I love BRUS, and as I've said so much on the campaign trail, from my time as Secretary of Agriculture to Senator of the great state of Illinois, I believe honestly it is the highest form of patriotism to fight for the ideals of your country.
Okay. Listen, we're talking about the Republican debate. Why are we asking the Democratic candidate why they dropped out? This is completely irrelevant. This is irrelevant. Let's continue. Let's stop wasting time and let's actually talk about the debate and the issues.
I think this is a very valid question to ask her.
It's not a valid
You want to
question.
know why she dropped out?
I don't care why she dropped out. This is about the
Yeah.
Republican debate, not the Democratic debate. You can
Johanna,
ask that
continue.
question during the
Johanna,
Democratic
continue. Johanna, continue.
I don't I don't want to continue. We can move on. We can move on.
Thank you for being the bigger person. Gabriel, that was out of line. Continue, girl.
Next. Okay, let's talk about immigration. How do you guys feel? Who do you guys think has the better immigration policy out of the two
Leo
candidates?
Stone believes in a tough, secure, strong border wall. He believes that if the United States has a tough border wall on both the north and southern borders that projects strength not only between Mexico and Canada, but across the entire world, and that it increases the United States' integrity. So Leo Stone, what he's going to do is he's going to issue a ton of executive orders regarding the border. Firstly, he's going to, write an executive order starting to defend the border, starting to rebuild the border. Next, he's going to write an executive order beginning to deport illegals in our country who are smuggling narcotics and drugs and illegals.
All right. Quo, what is your opinion? Actually, hello?
Hello.
Yes, Quo, what is your opinion on this? And right after this, we're going commercial break.
Girl, Johanna.
All right, Johanna. And right after this, we're going break.
My opinion on this is like I stated earlier. I mean, right now, our nation is at such roads. It all depends on who we decide to elect, obviously, who has the better plan, who has the better policy, and who is the overall most coherent lead. And this is a point I would like to raise that a lot of people are not recognizing. This election was going to be very important because whoever won the election would be inheriting summer BRUS, which is the time BRUS is most active. We don't need a lame duck president. We don't need a president who will not show for the people. We need an active president who can inherit that activity with style and fashion. That's what I'm going to say about that.
Okay, guys, I'm going to welcome on a special guest. We're going to welcome on a special guest, okay? One last guest before we end it. And Scott, you can bring up your topic.
So I want everybody who's watching this stream to go to the BRUS Discord server, pull up campaign, and begin watching the video titled Scripted sent by Leo Stone. This video, I've watched it. It contains audio footage of Henry Reyes telling Michael Smith, I can't write all of your campaign statements. I can't write all of your speeches. And it's basically an argument between Henry Reyes, who's the White House chief of staff. It's between Henry Reyes, who's the White House chief of staff, and the president. And Henry Reyes is mad at the president because the president is using Henry Reyes to write all of his speeches, all of his scripts, all of his that Michael Smith
Wow,
is incompetent.
this is crazy breaking news to come out right before the debate.
Exactly. This is
Jahan-
the October surprise.
Johanna, what is wow, this is
Johanna.
crazy. Johanna.
I de- I definitely think that this I definitely think that this makes Michael Smith look like a. Can y'all not hear me?
We hear
We
you,
can hear you.
Johanna.
We can hear you.
Continue. I'm
I
sorry.
definitely think that this Smith looked like a incompetent candidate and moreover an incompetent president. If we have a president of the United States sitting in the Oval Office, the highest office in the land, who is getting, you know what, I'm not even going to comment on this any further. I think
Yeah,
it's
let's just wow, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean,
Let's talk about how you guys
honestly,
think
yeah. Go
let's
ahead.
talk about how you guys think tonight's debate is going to change the polls. Like, our special guest is here, guys. Let's welcome up Tyrone Johnson virtually from our Zoom. Tyrone, are you here? Can
Yes,
you hear
I'm
us?
here.
Welcome aboard. Tyrone, are you going to chip in on the topic we were just talking about? This new video that just got leaked.
What
We'll
video?
post it. It's inside of campaigns that was posted from Leo.
Give me 1 second. I haven't reviewed the video.
Yes, it's crazy.
Hold on, real
But
second.
why? Can my producer share this video for us, please? Not yet. Anyways, yes. Hello, Tyrone, can you hear us? Are you connected? Hello?
Oh my god. Yeah, we have 4 minutes. Are we ending this or are we ending this?
Do you
Hello?
hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. You're connected. Yeah.
Oh, my bad, my
Yeah.
bad.
Tyrone, how do you think tonight's debate's gonna go? This is our last question before we end it.
I think it's gonna go good, and I hope both candidates don't, be too ghetto on the stage. I hope they be more political.
Right.
Can I answer the question?
Yeah, go ahead. I was just about to ask you that. I'm sorry.
So I hope that Leo Stone holds Michael Smith accountable for this disastrous video that just leaked. I mean, Michael Smith, from what this video shows and from what Michael Smith has been campaigning on, he's an incompetent, irrelevant candidate who shouldn't be even running. He should be busy governing. And I think Leo Stone's going to absolutely wipe the floor with Michael Smith, who is absolutely a terrible candidate. I mean, not much I can really say. I mean, Michael Smith, I don't know.
Oh wow,
I
Scott.
yeah, I'm just so passionate about this.
Okay, thank you guys for tuning into our pre-show. I can't wait to see you guys for the after show, and make sure you tune into the debate tonight at 9 o'clock CST.
irons.net.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gabrielle Gonzalez with USA Today, and welcome to tonight's Republican National Committee debate. It's going to be an exciting night as we hear from the candidates on the most pressing issues facing our nation. Now, let's welcome our first candidate to the stage, Michael Smith. Known for his strong stance on economic reform and a commitment to reducing government spending, Michael has been making waves on the campaign trail with his bold ideas and nonsense approach. Now let's welcome our next candidate, Leo Stone, a passionate advocate for national security and a firm believer in protecting American values. Leo has emerged his supporters with a vision for a safer and more resilient future. Gentlemen, welcome to the stage. We're looking forward to hearing your perspectives tonight. And let's welcome our moderators, Kai West and Henry.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good night. Good night. Good afternoon.
Greetings.
Henry,
Greetings.
Henry, you take the floor. You will begin.
Okay. All right, well, first, I'd like to thank both of these candidates for coming here to participate in the first Republican primary debate. I would like to direct the opening statements. First, I'd like to start with Leo Stone. Former President Stone. Why do you may begin with your opening statement now.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. Good evening, everyone. What have we seen from President Smith? Since taking office last Saturday, he has had nothing done to help our country. No campaign ads, no plan on the economy, only to credit Mark Keating, no welfare plan, zero plan on the military, and he's been worse than other presidents in
God, I
terms of
can't hear.
efficiency.
You have one. You have 1 minute remaining, Mr. Stone.
Interrupted. He has done nothing that is good for the people. And that is not leadership, that is laziness. The American people deserve someone who is ready to work for you, someone who doesn't rely on others to do everything for him, someone who leads from the front, not the sidelines. Tonight, we'll make the choice clear. Thank you.
Thank you for that statement, Mr. Former President Stone. President Smith, you may begin with your opening statement.
Okay, thank you. I don't know why a former president who pardoned Cashmore is speaking. Anyway, I thank today's news host for hosting this debate. It's an honor that I am here with Leo Stone for this primary debate to show the American people and Republicans what me and Leo stand for today. To present today, I present my policies and agenda and in my past experiences, I have served as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the Clinton administration, which involved major reforms within the Department of Defense, alongside with uh, the current the former Secretary of Defense, Oski Gonzalez, and then I spent my time to serve in Congress as senator and a representative, which I spent 5 months serving inside to making bills and making the lives of the American people better, which then I had the solemn duty to serve as the next president to uphold our laws to the nation. Um, and I stand back on this stage today, running to be an elected president to genuinely serve the people and give them their needs.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to begin with the questioning. First, I'm going to start with former President Stone. Mr. Stone, as you know, recently, in December 2024, you were elected as the 16th President of the United States. And previously, you had a abrupt term, and yet you are running for a second non-consecutive term. How can you gain the American people's trust as to how you can be president again? And why do you believe you are qualified more for the presidency over Mr. Smith?
Well, my past presidency definitely wasn't perfect. I made mistakes, but I've owned them. And what defines, a leader in general isn't what they failed upon, and it's what they learn from them and how they come back, stronger. Michael Smith hides behind other people and wastes time with meaningless executive orders that he admitted to troll Democrats. I actually do the work, and I've put forward policies since I've launched my campaign. I've taken the lessons that I've learned from my first presidency, and I'm using them to build a brighter future for our group. And I am very confident Michael Smith cannot say the same. And Michael, you can, say anything about my past presidency, but I'm presenting real solutions while you're relying on Henry Reyes to do the whole thing for you. And I've still been through the worst, and I'm still standing. I put out my policy. I held multiple rallies. I held an interview. The first thing you did for your campaign, which has been running for a week, is just give one rally where you had Henry Reyes write a speech for you. Like, why can't you speak from your own heart? I don't understand.
Is that all, Mr. Former President?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for answering that question. Mr. President, would you like a rebuttal and to answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, I have no idea.
You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I have no idea what Leo Stone is talking about. Um, Leo Stone is a horrible candidate for office. He pardoned Cash Smore. I do not think Leo Stone is a leader. He is a failure of a leader. His own cabinet betrayed him. Um, because he had distrust in our nation. He never took advice from his advisors. He had no solutions then, and he doesn't know what he's speaking about now. He can't hold his promises, and he couldn't even hold his presidency. He's got kicked out of his own party. How can he be trusted again?
Is
Um,
that all? Is that all? All right. Now we're gonna move in on to asking the former president a question. Mr. Former President, as you
Mike,
know,
you don't have
recently
any, Michael doesn't have any policy, and so he's saying
You
that my
do.
policy is bad. You
you
don't
both
even have any.
You got kicked out of your own
excuse me.
party.
You both will be reminded. Mics will begin to be muted. Thank you. Mr. Former President, as you know, you are the President of the United States, 16th President of the United States. Uh, you released a agenda handbook called Agenda 21, which is a plan that thus states your agenda for being the 21st President of the United States if elected. Could
Right.
you could you please share more with the American people as to what your foreign policy is? Recently, foreign policy, and I'm sure as you know, you've been seeing on the sidelines that it's been a decline in activity with our foreign affairs, and BUN has also unfortunately been on a recent decline. So how can you how can you make our foreign affairs essential again?
So, one of my promises to the American people, Promise 9 on Agenda 21, is use diplomatic measures to resolve international conflicts while holding on to a strong defense posture. What that means is that diplomacy is the primary tool for solving conflicts. And when I am president, I pledge to you. It's a promise from me to you. I will make a diplomatic visit weekly to the um, to the block to another nation or the Bloxburg United Nations. What I will also do is I will bring in businesses from other countries and increasing international trade for America. And we're also going to have more, summits between two nations. And that's obviously something I was planning on doing my first term, but obviously I didn't get the time to do it. And Michael Smith has done nothing in regards to foreign policy right now. He saw the whole China thing. He was there. He definitely knew what was happening. And he doesn't have any policy for it, as I said earlier. Anyway, continuing, we're gonna. So when I am president, if a potential conflict should occur, it's gonna be addressed by me before something
Mr.
happens
Former President,
because
your time has expired. Your time has expired. You'd like to make any additional comments? Mm. Mr. President, you have 2 minutes to answer the question.
Okay. uh, Thank you. First of all, our foreign policy is one of the most important parts that we need to address as a nation. Recently, BUN has been raided, but during this presidency and potentially the next, if I am reelected, I will try to revive BUN, work with a new Secretary of State on pressing issues of other nations. And as president, I plan to work with other leaders to revive our foreign policy and to revive the United Nations. We need to make our stance as a nation and a competent one at that. And we need to make sure that nations know what we stand for and what we are. Now, the other side, Leo Stone, I'm pretty sure he has no idea what he's talking about. His only
I
solution.
had no idea what I was talking about, Michael. Then how did I
I'm
fail to
speaking. I'm
write a speech
Please
speaking.
for
I'm,
be
this
re-
policy?
I'm speaking. Thank you. Be a good boy. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Leo Stone has no idea what he's talking about. His only solution to foreign policy is foreign policy itself and discussions. He doesn't actually want to make a stance as a nation. He doesn't actually want to revive BUN. I'm pretty sure he has no idea what he's doing.
I never
He
said
had
I was gonna
no idea.
revive
He
you
had.
one because
I'm
one was
speaking.
fine.
I'm speaking. Do not interrupt me. Do not interrupt me. Be a good boy. Anyway, Leo Stone's only like his first administration, Leo Stone's only policy was to do nothing. Now he is attacking me about foreign policy, and it's only been a few days after I took office. Now that's
Mr.
all.
President. Okay, thank you. Mr. Former President, this is personally an additional comment of mine to which you can answer if you'd like. Is that okay with you, Mr. Former President?
Go ahead.
Okay, so recently on a USA Today interview conducted by Kai West, you yourself stated that you support all diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Would you like to perhaps bring more into depth on what you mean? Was that a clerical error? Can you just bring more depth into what you mean by that?
Let me speak about that. So, Henry, I appreciate that you bring that up. So, I made a mistake when I said I supported DEI. I thought it over, and I realized that my support should be for rewarding merit and equality of opportunity, not the bureaucratic systems that push quotas over qualifications. And that's what real leadership looks like, Michael Smith. Admitting you're wrong and doing better and saying that, you know, is something that's clearly what you struggle with. In regards to the foreign policy issue, your secretary, Joshua Wilson, was inactive. You during your presidency and you did nothing. You fired excuse me, you fired Peter Guzman, the ambassador for Israel, because he had an intent to resign, a month away for his own reasons. But you had Henry Reyes type up a whole thing, and you have not done it. You are relying on Henry Reyes to do everything for you. I just posted about it in that advertisement. Well, you have to say to yourself that Henry Reyes is currently the one who is controlling you, and there is no coming back from that because you know damn well he is.
Mr. Stone, your time has expired. You spoke in the right time. However, Mr. President, would you like a rebuttal?
Yeah, I would.
You have 1 minute.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure Leo Stone has no idea what he's talking about. When he
You said that the
says it's
last
that he
time.
went. I'm speaking. I'm
Please do
speaking.
not speak over other candidates. Please be reminded, or else your mics will be muted. Thank you.
Lord, the incompetency. Resuming. I'm pretty sure Leo Stone has no idea what he's talking about. Once again, he thinks he makes honest mistakes. He thinks he can say to the people that he made a mistake, but in his interview, what he says he genuinely means. He only makes lies to the people. He has no idea what he's talking about. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Stone, I'd like
Excuse me,
to move on.
can I say something
You
really quickly?
you have 1 minute before we
I
move on
think
to the next question.
we should just resume with the
Michael, if you're gonna say that I don't know what I'm talking about, you
yeah,
said that
because
for the past two questions, and yet you can't give, a certain policy point. So like, I don't know if you know what you're talking about too, but that's just you, and I don't really know what to say to you then.
yeah, you
Okay,
don't know what to
I'm
say
right.
because you don't have anything to say.
I actually
All
have
right.
policy, Michael. You don't.
Okay.
Where's
That's
your
why I'm
Okay.
policy?
stating my policy
Okay.
here.
Where's your
Your
Where's
policy
your
is full of
16-page
lies.
Enough.
policy?
You are full of
Where's your
lies, Leo
16-page
Mute
Stone.
mics.
policy
Nobody
handbook,
trusts
Michael?
you.
Mute
How can we
mics.
trust another
Mute
presidency?
mic. Mute mics. Unmute mics. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. uh, Mr. Former President, I'd like to get onto a topic, mainly that I've been personally, as a former Marine, I would like to talk about myself. Our United States military, recently, and to my knowledge, the military has not been focused on or given eyesight of attention since the Drake Hayes administration, about 15 presidents ago. Mr. Former President, do you have any plan to help our troops and perhaps benefit our military? You have 2 minutes.
I do actually. So if you didn't see, I did not put this on Agenda 21 because I wanted to make it in a separate post. So I have a platform called Honoring Veterans Always. So I'm just gonna say this. Veterans are the reason that we are able to wake up every day, knowing that we live in a country that is free. You're giving the freedom to do it, the things that you want to do. And unfortunately, many others don't have that privilege. So my plan is to make sure that those who served are served in return from us, from the White House, the executive branch of the federal government. So we're going to support families of veterans. So any family who has an active duty veteran or military member will be giving beneficial aid to them in support of someone who they love dearly serving our country. They made are sacrificing their life, and it is a firm belief that we give back to them. And another thing is that um, I would stop the excuse me, I would not stop. I would continue to give veteran pension to all veterans that, returned. And so, and we're going to revive the military. What
Mr.
happened in
Former
the
President, do you yield your time? Mr.
on my
Former
time?
President,
Hello?
yeah, we can hear you.
Hello? Am I
Do you yield your time?
no. So,
Okay.
the illegal immigration that Johanna Hayes, wanted, I would stop it versus the law enforcement and give those people, them, also a pension because they're stopping, the people from crossing the border.
Mr.
I'm not
Stone, sorry to barge in, but your time has expired. Your time has expired.
okay.
If I may also reply to this, I'd like to thank you for commenting on the topic of veterans, which we will get to very soon. But I was referring to current troops in the military. Mr. President, would you like a rebuttal?
Yeah.
Also, wait, if I may add, border security, as you mentioned, Mr. Stone, we will be talking about it momentarily. But Mr. President, you have rebuttal. You have 1 minute.
Okay. Once again, Leo Stone serves lies to the American people. But as I served as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, I want to work with the Secretary of Defense and the Department of Defense very closely to revive our military and revive the department. Our soldiers protect our country and they protect our freedoms. And as president and as the next, I want to raise the budget of the Defense Department by working with Congress closely for a bipartisan uh, a budget to raise our Defense Department. And I want to work closely with veterans and our Veterans Affairs Department to give veterans benefits, as it is our duty as Americans to protect our soldiers. And as the Commander in Chief, if reelected, I will make sure every American soldier that is on the field and every American citizen is safe from tyranny from the world's nations and the rest of the world. Troops deserve to come back to their families, and I firmly believe that they should.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Former
Can I
President
just
Stone, you have 1 minute rebuttal before we move to the next question.
so Michael Smith is saying that, he's going to increase the budget, but Mr. President, you just signed a budget. You signed a budget, and so why didn't you increase the budget then? Um, I don't think you know that and you're saying that that you already signed, and I don't understand. Like, you're the president right now, so why couldn't you have done it then? You you're saying that if you're reelected, you're going to solve all these problems, but you're the current commander in chief. You had a week to solve it. You've already had a week to do something, and you haven't. The only thing you did is get us out of a government shutdown that you said that since that happened because of your mess. What are you doing? Like, this is
Mr.
our country, and
Mr.
you're
Stone,
exploiting it.
Mr. Stone, your time has expired for your rebuttal.
Yeah, you
And
have a rebuttal.
also, right after I give the former president a comment. Mr. Former President, as you know, you are the 16th president of the United States. You were
Right.
elected duly against Democratic nominee Justin Powers, and And you selected a vice president, which I would like to talk about very coherently. It was former Vice President Glenn Bourbon, current chairman of the Republican National Committee. Mr. Mr. Bourbon, to media reports from ENN and a DOJ informant, Chase Davenport, talked to your vice president and figured out that you were cooped out of the presidency. Sorry, you were cooped out of the presidency, and your cabinet was persuaded and turned against you. How can you ensure that you will not leave the American people lost and in distress, like as you stated previously?
Okay, thank you. So this time around, last time I ran, I ran to, help the country, and the cabinet choices I chose then I thought would never, turn on me like that. I was blindsiding myself. So this time, what we're going to do is we have me and my vice president, Mr. Spencerson. We're going to be forming a policy, not a policy to silence them, our cabinet members. If they need anything, we want them to come to us. And hopefully this will help me, because last time I never really built like general relationships with my cabinet members. So this time we're going to come together and I'm going to build relationships with them because I I still don't understand like why that happened to me. It shouldn't have. And my next presidency, I could hopefully promise you all now that it won't happen. I'm not going to resign on the American people like I did the first time. That's a promise from me to you. And if I do, it then it will never happen.
Mr. Stone, your time has expired. So, if I
Hold
can
on.
just summarize, hold on. If I may summarize, if I may, you are saying practically, if I may use a medical metaphorical phrase, that you have learned your lesson from the first time.
Yes, I said I've learned all my lessons from my first presidency, and I'm using those lessons that I've learned to build a better presidency for the next term.
Mr. President, you have a rebuttal. It will be a minute.
Okay. Hmm. Uh, Going back on Leo Stone's comments, um, as the current commander in chief, I have worked with House Democrats and Senate Democrats and Senate Republicans on passing a budget that raises the Department of Defense. Now, the March 2025 budget, the Department of Defense only got about 45,000, I believe. And recently, I just signed a budget giving them $130,000. Now, this is clear evidence that Leo Stone has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. Ha- He might be the next Joe Biden, even. For goodness Lord.
Mr.
And
Mr. President, your time has expired.
can I have a 1 minute extension?
Uh, I guess so. I guess so. You may continue.
Okay. Going back on the more recenter comments of President Leo Stone, his cabinet that he thought he could trust during his first administration had him ousted because they thought he was a horrible leader, and the people also thought he was a horrible leader. His own party thought he was a horrible leader, and he led that party. There's absolutely how can we trust him again if we distrusted him so bad in the past? That's all I have.
Okay, Mr. Former President, this will be the last comment that I may add before we move on to our next topic, which in my opinion will be very interesting. We will find out after this question. Mr. Stone, on January 20th, 2025, in roughly the evening, I'd say, when the Vice President was McGarry Wilson of the state of Pennsylvania, his house, Naval Observatory, was raided by protesters at the gate, and they stormed his house. They ruined valuables and very valuable things in the Naval Observatory. You yourself on Twitter made various several rants that you have since
Um, I
deleted.
made I made
And
I made one tweet. It was one tweet that happened after
Speaking,
the
speaking. Thank you.
events.
He's speaking.
Mr. Stone, if I may quote the tweet that I have here in my paper, it says, uh, "The Vice President wants to talk back. Bring that little S word to justice." If
That
I
is
may say.
not. That's excuse me. I no. You're reading the wrong thing.
Hmm.
That is not a
Perfect.
tweet that
Okay.
I wrote.
Well, if
That
I
is
may,
not a tweet that I wrote.
if I, if I may state, if I may state, what are your comments from that situation? How can you assure the American people you will not instigate with foreign leaders and such? You have
Well,
2 minutes to answer.
it shouldn't have happened. The whole event was not even a plan by me. I didn't and said, um, the vice president is being annoying. And you're giving misinformation. That is the wrong tweet. I did not, I only made one tweet that you didn't even read right.
I
Um,
guess I must have gotten that mixed up. My apologies. But still, you have 1 more.
but in regards to that, I'm not going to instigate anything. I don't, that was wrong, but it was many months ago, and I'm still being, attacked for that. But I've said I've learned my lesson. But right now we have you giving misinformation to the audience, which is like I don't know, but it's not going to happen. And there and having Henry Reyes do it for you.
You with your
So my comments on those statements that Leo Stone released, well, many government officials and high government officials, of course, already have speechwriters. Now, I asked my staffer to hire me a
That
speechwriter.
shows laziness.
I'm speaking. Lots of people have speechwriters for them. Secretaries, deputy secretaries, presidents, speakers, vice presidents, they all have speechwriters for them. It is not lazy. It's not laziness. It's called hiring staff that work for you and that work for the people.
Mr. President, your time has expired. Do you yield your time?
Yes.
Right, enough of these comments. Now let's move into.
Make a comment? Can I make a comment?
You may make one quick comment before we move on to the next topic.
Michael, this is BRUS. This isn't real life. Just write your own speeches. Like that, you are making, the staffer in question who's actually moderating this debate. Um, so why not just write your own things? I always write my own stuff.
Well,
I write everything.
that's your loss then.
Well, that just shows you're lazy. Do you admit you're
No, it
lazy?
doesn't. It
Well,
doesn't.
how does it not admitting that you're
I
lazy?
communicate with my secretaries. I communicate with my cabinet on basic daily issues. I'm not lazy. I
Well,
actually
why
do
doesn't it
work.
come from the heart then? Shouldn't your speeches come from the heart?
I don't know, should they?
Yes. That's a damning non-answer.
Okay then.
So why don't they come from your heart? From the American people.
I give the writer of the speech my
Mr.
heart.
President, Mr. President, your time has expired. Mr. Stone, and just to remind all the candidates on stage today, please do not interrupt while a candidate is speaking. Otherwise, your mic will be muted, and you'll face repercussions. All
Looks at
right, now
Leo.
let's move. Let's move on the next topic here. Mr. Stone, as you said in your 16-page long agenda, to which you stated as Agenda 21 for your plans, what you will enact if you become the 21st President of the United States, uh, do you think you'd be a little more transparent on your plans for the American people, how you'll make the economy flourish, as you state? And also, if I may add from the previous comment I asked you about January 20th, the tweet quoted, okay, you know what, all protesters should go on to the vice presidential residence. The VP wants to talk stuff, he gets stuff back, go, go, go. But you have 2 minutes to answer that question about the economy, Mr. Former President.
So, economy.
Yeah, he has no idea what he's talking about because
He spoke on two
this former
things.
president knows
Mr.
it's
President,
true.
Mr. President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking, Mr. President.
Uh-huh,
Henry,
a failed president is speaking. Okay.
Please do not speak over each other, otherwise,
I'm a failed president. You have done nothing. In 1 week of my
excuse
presidency,
me,
I've
excuse
signed
me,
7 laws. I convened the National
excuse
Security
me,
Council.
Yeah,
excuse
You have
me,
done
I wasn't
nothing.
elected, Leo Stone.
excuse me, Mr.
You
Former
clear,
President.
but you accepted the
Excuse
presidency.
me.
You
Yeah, I
accepted the
accepted the
presidency.
presidency.
Mr.
You,
Stone, are you
so
going to answer my
when you
Mr. Stone,
accept
are
the
you gonna
presidency, you go on the things that the president does.
I did not expect the presidency, and I did not have a long-lasting plan.
Mr. Former
You
President,
clearly knew he was resigning.
excuse me,
You knew
Mr.
he,
Former President,
you knew he
excuse
was
me,
resigning. The whole and
I let the moderator speak, Leo.
excuse me, Mr. Former President. Thank you, thank you. Okay, Mr. Former President, I will now Yes, we can hear you, Madam West. Okay.
the moderator just voted in the poll that Michael Smith is winning. This is total bias.
Excuse
Oh,
me, excuse me, Mr. Stone. I'm being
Oh wow.
unbiased here. So let's not. Okay. Cite the question as it states. Do you think, from your Agenda 21 plan, would you like to reshare, be more transparent on your plan on how the economy will flourish under a second Leo Stone presidency? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah. So the economic policy, I didn't put this in Agenda 21 because I don't know. Anyway, so we're not against basic welfare. I am a Republican, but I'm not against it. That basic welfare is affordable healthcare, affordable housing, affordable grocery costs, because that's self-explanatory. Um, Another thing is subsidies are only going to be given to those who are economically disadvantaged, because if you don't have more than a specific, if you are under like less money, then that's not good. So we're going to give you more money. And other things are we're going to have trademarks. This is in regards to DoCal, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're going to have revenue from administration fees. What that means, there'll be trademarks, there will be pensions, and business subsidies. And we're going to create an economic stimulus. We're also going to have an economic growth policy that I'm going to release soon. What that will do is it'll provide tax initiatives for startups. It'll offer tax breaks for businesses to help them grow. We're going to have a small business first act that helps small businesses start. We're going to also do a loan program where there's going to be funding for small business loans with low interest, obviously. Looks like we can here. And we're also going to have no tax burden on the middle class and donations.
Thank you, Mr. Former President, for that answer.
And can we have a new? Excuse me, Henry. You're voting that Michael Smith is winning the debate right now.
Mr. Former
yeah,
President,
Leo.
I can vote how I want in polls, thank you. And I am being unbiased as I can to give you questions to show the American people which one of you should be president. Thank you, thank you. Okay, now we're gonna move on. Mr. President, would you like a rebuttal?
Yes.
You have 1 minute.
So once again, I also believe Leo Stone has no idea what he's talking about. But my economic policy is to lower the price of eggs, to lower the price of milk. These are everyday needs of Americans, and I want to lower these. Uh, and including our Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. These are also basic this department involves basic necessities for Americans. Um, in the future, I plan to raise the budget of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare because the American people deserve welfare and they deserve needs that the federal government can provide.
Is that all you'd like to say, Mr. President?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Former President. As you know, the White House relies on events, as you know, to keep active, such as under your first administration, you hosted a Presidential Medal of Freedom ceremony, you hosted press conferences, you hosted many events, etc. Um, as you know, the White House during previous administrations not hosted has had inconsistency with the lack of events. So, how can you ensure that you'll restore activity within the federal government? You have 2 minutes.
Okay, so Agenda 21 again. I'm addressing challenges to inactivity. How this will be accomplished is number one, frequent events and activities. That means I will be hosting regular events and meetings, not necessarily cabinet meetings, at least 3 times a week. So at least 3 events a week from the White House, probably even more. Um, Another thing to have community feedback. I want to listen to you because I want the executive branch to be active. When the executive branch is active, and when we are listening to the citizens, that will help it get active. Another thing is we're going to have press conferences. There's going to be a press conference every Saturday. That's the idea. Every Saturday night because that's probably when the server is the most active. And we're also going to be having weekly reports come out. The executive office, preferably whoever the White House chief of staff is, who that will be decided obviously at a later time. It'll include the events that we've had, the things going on in the White House that are not happening, that are not happening in front, like behind the scenes, rather, I should say, and everything that the executive branch has accomplished in that week. That's what's going to be happening. It'll come out every, I don't know, Friday or something, and we're going to have a press conference to start the week on Saturday, and probably maybe even an event after that. And it's going to be great. It's going to be a very, very active term, and it's going to be during summertime. I plan to stay president the 4 months I'm in office. Um,
You know
and
that's never
that's
gonna happen, Leo.
Well, you're president now.
Mr.
Do you think
Mr.
do you
Stone,
think
your
you're gonna
time,
stay for 4
Mr.
months?
Stone, your time has expired, and also, Mr. President, please, and just for everyone here, please do not talk over each other while questions are being answered. Thank you. Mr. President, would you like to rebuttal?
Yes.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
Once again, Leo Stone thinks he's going to be president for the full term, which I firmly disbelieve. I believe that his cabinet is going to turn on him again. He is going to pardon unwanted individuals, and he is going to incite an insurrection and kill a Secret Service agent like he did in the past. Now, I wish to explain my policy for the executive branch and how to make it active, make our Congress active. Now, I plan to host cabinet meetings every single weekend, and I also want to host press conferences every single weekend. But since I just got the presidency, these events are going to be hosted after the weekend. Um, for this presidency and the next, I will be doing reforms on the executive branch. And if I am certainly reelected, I will continue those reforms. I want to make our justice departments active. I want to make our the departments that we need active. My
Mr.
event.
President, your time has expired, Mr. President.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Former President. Now we're gonna move on to a topic that you talked about in the beginning when you were referring to our military. That we're starting to go on to our last moments of this debate. How can you, as you know, no border data has been focused on or published by the Department of Homeland Security, but to which in 4 months, to which I believe the current secretary will most likely do. And as you know, from your presidency, you signed, uh, I mean, to leave a plaque at the border. Is that right, Mr. President?
It is.
Hmm. And you posted about that. and it was
Right.
your border visit to Mexico. You visited day one. How can
Right.
you ensure that illegal aliens will not be allowed to commit crime in this country and get away with it? And how can you have active border security data and statistics? You have 2 minutes.
So, what I'm going to do is, in regards to the border, I will be working with the Texas governor, Governor Rivera, to form a framework to create, establish effective and reasonable immigration policies. Um, can you hear me? Um, so we're going to make new guidelines for immigration um, that who want to come to BRUS. The illegal aliens will, if they come in the country legally, excuse me, illegally, the aliens sent right out, send them back to their country. We're also going to have enforcement of the laws, like that's also in regards to the aliens coming to the country. They're going to be sent back to Mexico. Um, and but it's we want the rules to be fair for everyone and evenly. We're also going to have checkpoints, patrolling, many patrollers, and systems to maintain the safety at the border. Um, what other things is that we're going to have new and easier ways for the immigrants to earn citizenship and become a citizen of our country. Thank you.
Is that all, Mr. Okay. Mr. Former
Yeah.
President, you have a 1 minute rebuttal and a 2 minute response to the question. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, Leo Stone, in his a quote Agenda 21, it states that he wants to. Let me read here. He wants to make it for immigrants for an easier application process, for an easier process to become an American citizen. I'd like him to answer that question if that's possible.
Yes, you.
So we're gonna have an easier way to become citizens, but if you're coming here illegally, we don't want you. If you're coming here legally, welcome. You're an
Are you
American.
calling me an illegal?
No, I'm saying in
Good.
general. Like what the hell?
Do not say that
Anyway,
word. I am a Catholic. Do not ever say that word again.
okay,
Members are
my apologies.
refrained. Members are refrained from interrupting each other. Otherwise, mics will once again be muted. Thank you, Mr. President. Please continue.
My apologies, Mr. President. I don't know why you thought that was necessary to interrupt me.
The
Anyway,
presidency isn't necessary.
I'm just going to make it clear that the president was recognized for a rebuttal and a response to the question about border security.
I thought I was being spoken to. No.
No, I would have said former president.
Oh, are you talking to me? Okay.
Yes, Mr.
I'm recognized for my rebuttal.
And your response to the question. You have 3 minutes in total. Go.
Okay. Is it? Are we on the rebuttal or the question?
We're on the
The what?
we're on the rebuttal, Mr. President.
Great. Okay. So first, I would attack. I want to attack Leo on his comments and leaks of the speech writing thing because I believe it is necessary to any government official to try and hire a speechwriter at least. I have seen
This is
government officials in the past. I'm speaking. Thank you. Do not interrupt me, Leo Stone. Thank you. Be a good boy. Anyway, I want to attack that because I have seen officials and government officials in the past inside this group, and I've seen them inside this group who they have hired speechwriters who have done speeches for them. Now, Leo Stone, on his comment on it should come from the heart, I want to give those speechwriters my heart, and I want them to write out my heart because they are meant to write the speech for the person, not themselves.
Your rebuttal has ended. You may begin with the response to the question in regards to border security.
Okay. What I wish to do with border security, I also recently raised the Department of Homeland Security budget to a $200,000 budget. It is completely essential that we protect our border as Americans. We cannot let these illegal aliens inside our country because we need to make our stance as a nation and we need to send those immigrants out. We need to send those illegals out. Now, if reelected, I will become the deporter in chief. We need I'm and such. Our border is a necessity. Our border is overwhelmed daily. We need to send more agents, which I will be doing in this current presidency, sending more agents and sending more men to the border. Even if required, I will even send the military. It is essential we protect our border as Americans and our sovereignty. Okay, that's it.
Is that all, Mr. President?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to ask a question first directed at Leo Stone, but this is specifically for both of you. Mr. Stone, what is your message for undecided voters, independent voters who have been watching this debate? You have 2 minutes.
Well, two people who are undecided. Um, our country needs real leadership, and our president right now is he's done nothing for you. I don't know where he's been. He decided to show up for this, finally reveal some type of policy, like that's not even explained that even well, and saying Mr. Stone doesn't even know what he's talking about. And I have leadership that is ready to deliver on solutions. Michael Smith has no solution. He's just making things up from his head, and like we're gonna let him. And he's saying that he's gonna do all these things, but he's the president now. Why isn't he doing anything?
Can I
Decided.
have a rebuttal?
You are welcome in the Stone campaign. We would love to have your support, and that's all I have for me. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. President, would you like to rebuttal or would you like to re-answer the question?
Okay, I would love a rebuttal. So,
Okay, then you have 1 minute.
Leo Stone on his comments of me doing absolutely nothing. I have been working nonstop, trying to govern this nation, out of which our highest government officials have resigned. Now, as the Speaker of the House, I personally was not expecting for me to take up the presidency or our highest government officials to start resigning. I never had a long-lasting plan for to become president. Now, I am just beginning to establish myself as the president and establishing a policy because I believe now is the time. I only took office a few days ago. That doesn't mean I haven't done absolutely anything. I still have around 40 days left of this presidency. I plan to do the best, and I plan to do the best if I am reelected.
All right. Hold on, please hold. I've just received word from our second executive producer that we will be going on a commercial break, it appears. We will be back. For now, please be tuned. We will be back for the Republican primary debate between Michael Smith and former President Leo Stone.